Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 98 of Discourse in Magic with Mario Lopez. You have seen his magic on Instagram. You have seen some of the crazy visual stuff that he does with coins, with a cigarette, with real everything. He is a brilliant mind in magic, and he has some awesome ideas to share about how to use your face and how he gets inspiration from cartoons and how you can do the same thing. Really some genius stuff. Here it is, episode 98 of Discourse in Magic with Mario Lopez. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Discourse in Magic. My name is Jonah.
My name is Tyler.
And we are here with a very special guest, someone who I have been blown away by his magic online. Love following what he's up to on Instagram, and I'm so excited to dive into the details. We are here with Mario Lopez. Mario, how you doing?
Really good. So excited to be here.
We're really excited to have you and excited to dive in and chat about magic. Let's start at the very beginning. How did you get into magic? How did magic find you?
So one day I think in the school, one friend of mine came with a cigarette, and he put the cigarette inside his fist and vanished. And my mind is, it's like I don't know, I don't know how to express, but I love the moment. I was so impressed, and when he explained me how it works, I've been more impressed. So
yeah,
I've been in love with the feeling of magic, and I've been in love with the secret and how to create the magic moment.
Awesome.
That's awesome. And it's so interesting that, you know, people like us, I think there's certain types of people who are made to be magicians, because some people see magic and they go, wow, that's cool. And then they want to go out and eat lunch or whatever. Yeah. And then there's people like us who see magic and then we're like, I have to know how that works. Yeah. And when we find it out, we're like, that's even better. I want to do that for other people.
Yeah, because some people find out how it works and they're disappointed. For and sure. Those people are not meant to be magicians. No, they're not. Right? No, you need to love both sides of it.
So how did it go from that into sort of where you are now? What was the journey?
With the same guy, I spent like 1 year in my town. I think I was 17 or 18, and we've been playing with cards and download videos from internet from Paul Harris and Tony Hassini. And we spent 1 year practicing little tricks, and I moved to Granada. I don't know if you know, a city in Spain. And I met one old magician. He's called Luis Arza. Mm-hmm. And I've been with him for 1 or 2 years, learning so much. He shared with me all his books and his videos, and he that day begin the party, and until today.
Yeah. And so you were working with, sorry, say his name again.
The name is Luis Arza.
Luis Arza. So you were working with him even still till today? You guys work together?
Not too much, because I moved to Catalonia and he lives in Granada. Right. But we are in contact, right. And every week I try to call him, and we share ideas, but we don't work together.
Right. Yeah. That's it's always. It's something that I don't think people talk about enough in magic, and that is the relationships you make with other magicians and the important role they play in shaping you as a performer.
Yeah, for me, right? This guy was so important because before to meet him, I know so many tricks, but I don't know how to do the tricks. I don't know if I can explain, but I know how to do the double leaf, and I know how to do so many sheets. But when I do it to the people, oh, you are so fast, or right. I don't know how you do it, but you do something. But with this guy, he showed me how to perform, and
right.
and how to create the magical moment and how to create atmosphere, and that was the good point. He don't teach me any trick, any trick. He only teach me. He don't teach me anything. He only asked me why you do that and why. So he put the question in my mind, and this was the best part of him, I think.
And that's good to hear that it has had an effect on the way that you perform, because you have, I think, a very interesting performance style. Like you can tell there was some words that I wrote down.
They were theatrical
to
and
understand,
dramatic.
the performance style. So one was theatrical, dramatic. The other word that I wrote down was surreal.
Nice.
And an example of that is the tweezer pulling the coins out of the center of the Chinese coin. Like, that's a very surreal moment. That it doesn't. It's not like a piece of mentalism. You're not reading someone's. You're not. It's not happening in your brain. It's making your eyes pop out of your head. And often it feels like you yourself are surprised by the magic that's happening. Another example for people who don't know is a lot of the cigarette magic that you do, where it keeps, flipping over the other way, or, it seems like almost like you don't have a control over it, or
the magic's happening to you.
So can you talk a little bit about that? How why is that the style that you work with? How do you have sort of identity within that?
At the beginning, when I started to perform, I didn't have a 1 hour show or full evening show. So I began to perform in cabaret in Granada with so many clowns and poets and I don't know, like circus style, more or less. And when I do the tricks at the end, so we do. I get the feedback of the clowns, and he say me, "Yeah, but this is so funny, and you don't make it funny." And I say, "Oh shit!"
Right.
Because the cigarette vanish, and he explained me more or less how to be theatrical, that you say, and so I've been more interested in the theatrical part more than in the secret or in the technique.
Right.
For me, it's more important.
And that's very evident in your performance.
Yeah. And at the beginning, when I do tricks, I only look my hands and I don't share my feelings with the audience. And this is one thing that clowns say me. Everything in a performing art is about share with people what you feel, and I try to look the eyes to the people and share. Oh, you see, you already see this beautiful thing, or
right?
Yeah, and I think this is a very interesting part of my magic. I mean, not of the magic. Magic have give to me the possibility to share my emotion when I see magic to other people. So
that's awesome. A lot of magicians talk about how they say like magic is a form of communication, and they say that, and then they talk through their performance. They don't look up. They stare at their hands. They do a trick, and so how could it be a form of communication? The way that you do it and the way that you're talking about it, it makes a lot of sense. You're all. It's a conversation of emotions, right? And obviously they can't do magic, right? But they can experience not only magic, but they can experience you experiencing
my
magic.
feelings, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't try to share something philosophical, or I don't try to share a very interesting idea. I try to share some of my feelings when I saw some magic, or when I saw some piece of art. So that's the idea. And the thing that you say with Chinese Twister, or with this kind of magic, when I was young, I was so amazed for cartoons like Looney Tunes or things like that. And when Looney Tunes, I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
So I love when I don't know, like Bugs Bunny enter in the hole but he can enter because the hole is so small. So when I was seeing the TV, I said, "Shit, how he can enter in the hole? It's so small and
Right.
he's so big." And I think all these things I had in my head, and I try to put in my tricks to make me.
Yeah,
Amazing.
That's so cool, and it's cool to think that you get inspiration from something like an animation. It really is like. But that is where we should take inspiration from, because those things like Bugs Bunny or things like cartoons, they bend reality the same way that we bend reality. That's what makes it so fun. You see like eyes popping out of their heads, or you see like their arm growing twice as long, or you see, and like that's what we do, but we sort of, I don't know, we tend to dumb it down, I guess. So I love the idea that
I feel like you can't force them to feel a certain way experiencing magic or a moment of astonishment, but you can show them how you felt in that moment and guide them emotionally so they can live vicariously through it, which I think is it's such a simple concept that I've never even thought about before.
Yeah, I think it's really simple, and but not for magician. I think it's simple for the people who draw, because if you draw and if you imagine the story, it's so easy to create and to draw. But when you try to put this in magic, I think we have so many tools to make it.
Yeah. So go ahead.
I'm in the way to find these little pieces of magic that this idea is what I'm looking for. When you cannot control magic, for sure there are so many magicians that I saw before me that do that, like Cardini or Fred Capps, or I don't know, so many of them that they do beautifully. But one of my favorite cartoons is Coyote. You say Coyote? And Roadrunner.
Yeah, Coyote.
Yeah, and I love the Coyote, because he's always tried to make something, and he always is grown because he prepare. I don't know. He prepares some trap for the Roadrunner, and he always fall in the trap. I don't know how to say.
Yeah.
And I love that feeling in magic. Because normally, if you are a magician, I think audience feel you like you are God. And it's so difficult to empathize with a God, But if you are a normal person with your shitty sins, with your shitty things, for the audience, it's easy to empathize with you.
That's awesome, and I love the idea of embodying the coyote because I'm obsessed with different ways that someone can let magic happen without being the god, that is a really beautiful way to do it, where they can watch you fall on your own sword, they can watch you fail magically, and they understand that that's the point. The point isn't I'm better than you, or the point isn't I know. One of the things that I always say about magic is to do a trick is easy. To do a trick and have your audience not hate you is very hard. And that's it. When somebody learns magic for the first time, they do a trick, and if everything goes right, the person they did the trick for goes, fuck you, right?
Yeah, right.
Exactly. It's exactly right. That's the response. They're like, fuck, like, I don't know how you did that, right? And we don't want that. We want us to both celebrate in the same joy and in the same impossibility. So I love the idea of embodying the character of the coyote. If somebody is listening to this and their brain is being shattered in a good way, and they're finding out like, oh my goodness, I want my magic to be more theatrical, I want people to see me enjoying it, what can they start to do? Obviously, it's a whole new world of magic, but what sort of advice would you give them, or what can they start to do to help share in a theatrical way?
I've been talking about this with two Spanish magicians. One is Jaime Figueroa, and the other one is Pipo Villanueva.
Yep.
I don't know if you know any one of them, but
the second one,
I know Pipo, but I don't know the first one.
So these guys wrote lecture notes about perversion in magic. Perversion is when you cannot control the magic or all of these ideas.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So if somebody have the chance to buy these lecture notes, I think it's a beautiful work and is explain very clear everything, all of these concepts. So this is one way, and the other way is to see the Coyote and the Roadrunner.
But that's true. It's a good idea to watch other versions of art and theater where there's animations, but it's not like a god,
and,
you know.
And for sure, in all the comedy movies of Charlie Chaplin or Buster Keaton, I think in all the work of Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton, there are so many little magical things. And in this way, he tried to do something, but he always failed, and he failed, and he failed. And
right.
But he fails spectacularly, right? He's amazing things are happening, but because it's not about how powerful he is and his control over the situation. He's powerless, right? The world is happening around him in an amazing way.
World is against you magically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're not blessed, you're cursed more than anything, right?
And it's a good thing to keep in mind when you're mentioning how when you were performing you got the advice from clowns, because that's another great direction to look, because clowns have, you know, I always think very highly of art forms who do similar things to what we do, except they don't have the crutch of magic. So things like clowns or things like stand-up comedy, you know, I love what they do because, you know, they're doing what we're doing, except they don't have impossibility to fall back on, you know, like to go and do your first magic trick on a stage is way easier than going to do your first stand-up comedy set. True. Because if the magic trick works, which it should, right, they at the end they clap their hands and they say, "Did you know how? I don't know how he did it. Wow, I don't know how he did it. That was really cool," right? But the comedian can go up there and everything cannot be funny, right? And same as the clown. The clown can't. If people don't buy into the clown, then it's nothing. He's just standing up there like dancing for himself, right? So I love looking at other art forms like that, and I like the idea of thinking about clowning and the way that they share emotions the same way that we do.
I'm totally agree.
I was gonna.
I think do a magic trick in a stage is so easy, and it's so easy for the magician be hidden under the trick.
Yeah.
And, if you are afraid, if you are nervous, the trick do it everything for you. The magic is always there, but not for the clown and not for the. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's very evident in your style of performance that clowning would have been an inspiration. I wanted to bring it up because it almost seems a lot like mime work in a sense, even though you have physical props. You know, the expressiveness in your face and the story you're telling without even using words speaks to old, you know, circus theater, not, you know, contemporary magic as a whole. You know what I mean? And I think you're doing it right personally. Like, I don't speak a word of Spanish, but I can sit down and watch all of your videos and thoroughly enjoy myself because it transcends language. It really does.
Yeah. I think the secret is in the face. Everything is in the face. You don't need anything more.
But that's such a beautiful piece of advice, you know, like when people are watching back their videos and watching themselves perform for a you know, when you watch back a video to see how it looks, people are looking at their own hands to see how it looked, or people are looking to see how well they're dressed or whatever, or anything like that, or to see if they flashed. And all of that's important. But, you know, particularly in a video, the only way that you're going to relay emotion aside from the music that you play is in your face. Like, that's the only other tool that you have. You've got the magic that you do, what you wear, which only does so much, the music, if you choose to put any, and then your face. And that those are all the tools that you have. There's nothing else there. So thinking about your face as a whole other leg to a magic performance is definitely important, and I love it. I've never heard anybody talk about it, and I think that's.
But think about it, like on more than just a level of like you can be expressive with your face. Where do you Where do you direct people with?
Of course,
your eyes, everything. Like it's so much is the face. I've never really put any importance on it. I mean, when I read 5 points, I guess I did think a little bit more about how important your actual physical body is. But again, like most magicians, myself included, fall into this trap of what's the trick doing? What's the point of the trick? What am I trying to do with it? But like, you're also there. You're also a part of the magic.
But this is important. You can hide. You can hide with the trick. You can be there, but it's not so important. Normally, the magician is not important. Not normally. I think any good magician, for me, is more important the magician, not the trick. But it's so easy to put the magic first, and I don't want. I want to be first. I think it's more important the magician than the magic.
Right.
For me.
The character, right? Like who you're trying to be on stage.
I love that.
And the person, and who are you? But really, who are you? Not only in the stage. I think everything is important there.
Yeah. That's actually a pretty solid question. I think there's a lot of we've really put importance on your, who you are on stage and your character and things outside of the magic. Do you have advice for people who, for lack of a better way of phrasing it, lack character? Like they don't have a personality that they're confident in or that they feel they want to shine through.
One advice that Luis Arza said to me when I start to perform, I'm a little bit shy, and when I enter to the stage, I go with my back looking to the floor. I don't know how you say, like a curve. And I talk not so loud. I talk like, "Hey, hello, how are you? Hi." And at the beginning, so many magicians say me, you need to project your voice. You need to be straight. You need to look up. You need to look your audience. And I think, oh shit, this is yes. I need to practice this. I need to talk better. I need to talk aloud. And Luis Arza say me, all the things that the people say you need to change. This is your better character. You need to how do you say in English? Sorry. You need to work in that. If the people say that you are shy, okay, so be shy, but be the perfect shy guy. Or
that's awesome.
If you don't talk good, so try to talk like, hello, how are you? Do you know what I mean? If you don't know how to talk good, so play with that. And so one advice is everything that the people say, you need to do it better this, because this is not so good. You need to if you follow all the advice of the people, you wanna be you wanna be like,
you'll be just like everyone else.
Yeah, like everyone. So
you'll be one of them and not yourself.
Yeah. So if you don't change anything, you will be you.
That is such interesting advice. I love it.
Yeah.
Where you do the opposite basically, or more clearly than that. Like when someone tells you that when you do this, it's acting different. That's what you do more of, because that's what makes you different. And that's so good. What great advice. Thank you. That's awesome.
Luis Arza, say it.
That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about your Instagram and what you're doing online, because I think it's really cool.
Yep.
First question, why don't you like cards?
This is marketing.
You got me. You got me.
No, for sure I love cards. I think it's the best prop in Magic, because you can learn everything there, like timing, like technique, like presentation. It's easy to create something new. So I think it's a very beautiful prop. But when I begin in Magic and I start to have my own ideas, I go to my friend and I say, "Oh, look this idea with cards," and they say me, "Yes, yes, but you need to read the Dave Vernon books and the Old Baker, and you need to read this and this and this because they have a version better than this one." And I say, "Shit!"
Right.
And I begin to do cigarette magic. And when I go to my friend with a new idea with cigarette, they say me, "Oh, that is nice, but why you don't do this? Or imagine that and imagine that." So the conversation begins to be like a brainstorming conversation. So I prefer to share, and the people give me his ideas. You know what I mean? That I go with a cigarette idea, and they say me, "Yes, but you can change this little thing," or "Why you
Yeah.
don't?"
Right.
So for me, this conversation was. I prefer this kind of conversation, like brainstorming, more than that you need to read
Right.
that book, and that book, and boring about books.
Yeah.
So,
It's nice.
Okay.
It's nice when you get to talk to people about their ideas,
Yeah.
and instead of them saying like, "Go read this" or "Go do this,"
Yeah.
instead you're talking about ideas, and people are being creative because it's something that they've never seen
yeah,
before.
and they have known nothing in the RAM. I don't know
Right.
nothing about cigarettes, so I need to create something.
Right.
So I think it's more interesting.
Yeah.
And with cards,
I think it's also. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I want to say that with cards, I think there are so many things. So I feel that I'm a little bit blocked to create something new. But
That's interesting.
not with new props. If you take a new thing, maybe there are not so many tricks, but I don't know if you like to go to the mountain to find like mushroom in the mountain, but if you know what I mean, to looking for mushroom in the mountain.
Sorry, you're cutting out. You're cutting out. Say it again.
Here in Spain is normally to go to the mountain or to the forest to find mushroom.
Okay.
Okay, so there are so many
Yeah.
places where there are so many mushroom, and all the people go
Yeah.
there. But if you go there, it's so
Right.
difficult to find a big mushroom because everyone
Right,
passes
because
from there.
everyone's there.
Yeah, but if you go to another place, it's more difficult to find one of them. But if you find one of them, this is a big and beautiful mushroom because no one passed from there.
I understand. That's awesome. It's a good visual to understand, and just the idea, and that should be something that people listening to this take to heart, is the idea that if you want to do something creative or you want to do something very new,
Yeah.
then the best way to do it isn't to pick up literally the most used prop in all of Magic, because it's going to make it as hard as possible to find something new. You're going to have to create something groundbreaking by comparison to if you pick up a prop that nobody picks up, like do magic with a chair, or I don't know, I'm just looking around the room, but do magic with items that other people aren't doing magic with, and then everything you do is new because no one's ever done it before.
Yeah. Maybe it's a shitty thing, but it's new.
Yeah.
But again, like maybe in 50 years, everyone will do magic with coin, or whatever, not coins, but with some other random object. Like maybe everyone will do magic with phones, or everyone will do magic with. But there's an area right now where it's still pretty new, and I'm maybe 150 years ago the card magic was shitty, but I don't think it was, and it led to what exists now. So it's still worth it to create in those areas.
Yeah.
If somebody, one of the things that you do that is very interesting, and I know we spoke a little bit about this, but usually when magic looks very theatrical, it happens on stage. And to bring that sort of like theater into a close-up setting is very new, and you don't see it very often. And people get to interact in a very different way because there's different energies, like flowing. So how can maybe somebody who's used to like talking a lot in a close-up setting, or what other advice would you give to them? I know using your face is a great piece of advice. What other advice would you give to them in terms of sort of how to really slow down and get into the joy and the theatrics of doing magic close-up?
Normally, I have a feeling with in close-up is the magician. We are looking for the trick only. No, we don't enjoy the presentation normally. It's like take any card, I mix, blah, 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 and look at this beautiful moment, but only a very little moment in the whole trick. Only the effect of the trick.
It's just
If you don't enjoy everything, the presentation, how you say hello, what's your name, and how you present your props. I think you need to enjoy this little moment, because if you don't enjoy that, there are so many things to talk about in the trick, but for you is not interesting. I don't know if I'm explaining good, but
yeah, I for sure understand. Like there's so much in a piece of magic. Like talking to them, picking a card, putting it back, introducing the props, like shuffling the deck, like all of these different things can be an entertaining moment and a fun moment. And instead of just the only moment is when you say ta-da, and then they know what the trick was. There's more.
Everything in the trick, every little thing in the trick need to be interesting for you. And if for you it's interesting, for sure for the audience will be interesting.
Yeah,
but if you only enjoy the reveal or the transformation at the end, this is a shitty trick for sure.
Yeah, it's like magic will inherently and forever be procedural, but it doesn't inherently have to feel that way, right? Every part can feel not only necessary, but enjoyable. Like I find that, especially as a magician, I find myself sitting in the audiences of magic shows waiting for the applause just so it'll be over, right? Because I'm like, all right, now he's going to shuffle. Now he's going to put them back in the box. He's going to take them out again.
Or at least, or never mind the applause, but like waiting for the trick to happen.
Yeah, so I can go, and that's what we all wanted.
And that's when you know that it's a good magician, when you're not sitting there going like, okay, does he find the card now? Like, where does it, like, when does he find the card? Like, oh, is it going to be in his shoe? Yeah, it's going to be in his shoe. Like, that's where it's going to, like, if you're sitting there thinking that, then there's not a lot of joy going on in the magic. So I really like that. And I like the idea.
It's like if you take 1 hour show and you reduce only for 2 minutes, maybe. Only 2 minutes was interested in 1 hour show. That's not good.
Right.
For me, I'm very upset in how to create the atmosphere. For me, the most important part in a magical trick, in a magic trick, is the atmosphere of that trick, or in a show, the atmosphere of a whole show. And I learned so much in Instagram because you have only 1 minute to create that.
Right.
Not to share a trick, because you can do it in 5 seconds to share a trick, but at the beginning Instagram is only 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And how to create in 15 seconds, how you can connect with the audience, and how you can create a little bubble between your phone and his phone to make something beautiful, not only a trick, no? And I learned so much with Instagram.
I love Instagram, and we'll talk about it a little bit more in a sec, but I love what you're talking about with an atmosphere, because the atmosphere of the magic, like the atmosphere in which you perform magic, dictates how people will respond, and like, so we all know the difference when we're like, oh, that was a really good set, or, oh, that was a really bad set. And I think if all of our tricks are the same and all of our lines are the same, everything we say is the same and everything we do is the same, what made it so that these people responded differently this time than that time? And the answer is, the atmosphere that they were in, you know. And sometimes you can be in an atmosphere where they're playing with you and they're playing along with you, and then sometimes you're in one where they're challenging you and they're against you. And it's our job to not only do the magic, but paint that scenario so that, you know, people play with us.
Yeah, totally agree.
So let's talk a little bit more about Instagram. Do you have any sort of philosophies or thoughts about how it should be used and how to create magic on the platform?
I have no fucking idea. For me, I'm so lucky because I have so many ideas. And before Instagram, I had many ideas that I think, oh, what a pity, because maybe I never performed this trick because angles, or because maybe it's so difficult to perform, or I don't know. And when I discovered Instagram, I say, oh shit, I can create my perfect scenario that you say, and I can record like 1,000 times until I get the good shot. For me, it's nice because all the trick that I think, oh, I never going to perform this to the audience, so I can put them. So I record, I put in Instagram, and I have more free space in my mind for new tricks.
That's awesome. There's plenty of stuff out there that I've come up with myself, and I'm sure a lot of other magicians have thought up their own sort of methods or tricks per se that simply don't work in a real life setting. And now there's a platform for it. I was just talking about this earlier with Jonah. I think it's a whole other kind of magic, is not magic that uses camera tricks, but magic that uses the fact that the camera controls the perspective, right? Like you're choosing what the audience is going to look at, not using editing tricks, but you know, you look at his face when he needs to move a card somewhere or whatever the sneaky thing is, and then it'll pan down again, which I wouldn't really consider a camera trick because, you know, with proper misdirection, it would work the same way. However, that misdirection is not guaranteed unless you're watching a video.
But it's not a camera trick. It's trick made for a camera.
Exactly.
But it's the same. You cannot do it a big illusion in close up. I mean,
right. Yeah.
But it's not a stage trick, or I mean, like it's different scenarios, and you create the trick thinking in, okay, where I going to perform this trick. Maybe the best scenario is do it in the street because I need so many cars. So you cannot do it in the stage because you need so many cars. So you will perform this in the street and not in the stage. And maybe so many tricks is made only for one person. Like, okay, I only can do this for one person because I need he's looking in front of mine. So all of this trick you can do it for a camera, and this trick is not only for one people because it's maybe thousands of people seeing in his phone. So I think this is the good part of Instagram.
Yeah, it's awesome. You can do it for one person times 3,000 instead of 3,000 times one, right? I know that makes no sense, but you know what I mean, right? Like you don't
need to go one by one, do it. This is the tricks.
Exactly. So that's good to hear. So how this is sort of one of the last questions before we start to wrap up the episode, but how do you create, you know, like you're basically sitting there, you have a blank canvas, you can start with anything. Let's say you choose a prop like a coin or a cigarette or something because it's an interesting prop for you. What do you do in order to create almost, I don't want to say start to finish because there's a lot, but how do you go from nothing to a piece of theater?
Oh shit. Normally, for me, the beautiful tricks that I have, they come alone. I mean, One day I was sitting in a couch smoking, and poof, and they come, and that's the best one. But if you don't practice every day how to create new tricks, it's so difficult. You are not helping to this trick come to your mind. I mean, you
Right.
need to be ready. You need to the brain need to be fresh and prepared for these things. So I think there are so many creative exercise that you can do it.
Yeah.
Instead, to be more open to everything come to your mind. But I can tell you how I do it. Now I'm in my room when I create my tricks, and my table is a fucking disaster. I have so many things on top of the table, and I have my normally props like cards, like coins, like cigarette, like the tweezer, balls, the cup, and I have a strange object in between. Every week or every 2 weeks, I try to put some different object in between of my normal props, and I start to play, not with the object, with the normal ones. And in some moment, I say, "Oh, maybe I'm doing this with the coin, but I don't know." Now I have here, how you say, chains,
Chains, yeah.
chains. So I have chains here. So maybe I'm playing with coins, but
Ties.
I like
Anyway, so it doesn't matter. I think the people at home understand, but I have ties here. I think is what it's trying to say.
yeah.
But anyway,
Ties. So I have this around the table. So when I'm practicing coins or something, maybe it's easy to mix the chains with the coins.
Right.
So, but normally I don't get good tricks here. But it's just something for make my brain wake up. Like, hey, you need to work. So every day I spend like 1 or 2 hours in the table playing with the normal props and thinking how to do something new with the chain or with anything.
That's beautiful, and I love that, and it's clear. You know, one of my favorite videos of yours is the one with the Jacob's ladder.
Yeah,
you know, because and one of the things that I like about that so much is that, you know, as a kid, I always thought that toy was cool. You know, it was magical.
Yeah.
You know, it's not magic, but it's like it's sort of magic is in it. You know, and then to take it and to say, let's make some magic out of this, right?
Yeah.
Like let's make it magic. Let's utilize magic. Is a really cool way to bring that to light. And I like the idea of, you know, and I like the word that you use, but playing, you know, instead of, because we're not, no one has a gun to our head to create new magic. It's fun, right? You have to enjoy it. You have to play. Like we're magicians. We're still kids. So just play with your toys, and then if you come up with something, tell the world.
Yeah, for sure. You need to enjoy it. You need to be happy here. But it's not like, oh shit, I need to go to create something. Oh shit.
Yeah.
if you begin like that, I think that you don't get anything. But yeah, this is the idea. I work with the Jacob ladder around here, and I've been practicing ropes, broke and restore rope, and I say, oh, why I don't do it with this? So I think if I don't have the object in the table, maybe I don't get the flash like ding. I cannot link the idea.
Right.
But if you have 1 week seeing the object in your table, like, oh, what is that shit? Ah, okay, I put there 2 days ago.
Right.
The object is in your brain, so it's easy to your brain to make the connection with anything new.
Yeah, I'm trying to like think of an example, and this is going to drive me crazy in a little bit. Me and Jonah crazy in a little bit, but I was just thinking like when me and Jonah used to jam when we were younger.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, I'd come over with a deck of cards. We'd show each other all the tricks we learned, put the cards down, and then pick up the closest object and spend 4 hours.
We would jam with like
an
empty
water
Doritos
bottle.
bag and a water bottle cap, because that's just the stuff that literally, like, you remember that trick. And we would that would just be what was near us, and we would do tricks with whatever that was. So I like the idea of picking a prop that you think is interesting and then putting it in your world, put it on the table, put it on your kitchen table, put it where you're going to see it, and then you'll dream about it and start living it.
That's the idea. Yeah.
I love it. That's such a crazy idea. So now we're getting to the part of the episode where we start to wrap up, but we have a whole bunch of questions to wrap up the episode.
Okay.
The first is our endless chain of magicians. So we want this podcast to go on forever. And one way to have that happen is to have each magician recommend another magician for us to have on the episode. So on the podcast. So who do you think we should have on the podcast?
I read you Amazing Jonathan.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you did. You wrote that on the post. Yeah.
But if you don't have the chains, I will tell you Pipo Villanueva.
Say again?
Pipo Villanueva.
Oh, perfect.
Of course.
Great idea. If I need your help getting in contact, can you help?
Sure, for sure.
Perfect.
Awesome.
The next here, I'll hand this off to Tyler.
So the next is what we call the Magic PSA. It stands for Public Service Announcement. So anything you want the Magic community to hear, it can be a word of warning like, hey, stop doing this move or this performance technique, or it could be some advice like start doing this. But basically the floor is yours and you can say whatever you want to the listeners at home.
Enjoy all the process, everything. Enjoy your practice in your home. Enjoy to create a new trick. Enjoy the presentation. Go to buy clothes for your act. And enjoy when the people clap and when the people not clap. Enjoy everything around the magic. And if you are a little bit boring of your trick, go outside of magic. Go and see theater, clowns, a musician, or talk with anybody. Maybe with the oldest guy in your town, or with the youngest one, or with a dog. Maybe the dogs have something interesting to say.
But I like that. I like the idea of just enjoy every part of it. There's only so much, there's so many different parts of magic, and you just have to get a joy out of all of it. If you don't like it, like what's the point? What are you doing here? So enjoy it, enjoy the magic because it's fun. And I really love that. I think that's an awesome piece of advice. The next question is we did that is our question of the episode. So each guest has an opportunity to ask the audience a question. It can be anything from a question that you want to hear the answer from lots of magicians, or it can be a question that you want people to ask themselves, but you have an opportunity to ask all the magicians listening a question. So what would that question be?
Shit, you can say me this first before. Are you doing? This is for magician. Are you doing the magic that you like it or no? The kind of magic.
Sorry, say again.
Are you doing right now the magic, the kind of magic that you really like it or no?
That's a great question, because I know that I've definitely found myself, I finish performing and I go, wow, that was a great set. I hate my magic.
Yeah, I've spent years doing tricks I don't like because they work very well.
I hate this. So I think that's a great question. So do you like the magic that you're currently doing? Yeah. And if not, why the heck are you doing it? So I love that. That's a beautiful.
I'm 15% I like my magic and 50% I don't like my tricks. So I'm working on it.
I think that's a healthy middle. It'll keep you growing, but also not make you hate yourself. So there you go.
It's one of the things that I talk about a lot is the plight of the artist. The journey of the artist is to do magic, is to do art, and then the more you do, the more you look back on what you used to do and go, what the hell was I doing? And you keep doing that. And that's how you get better.
Yeah.
You're like, this is the best thing ever. And then 3 weeks later you go, what the fuck was I talking about? And you keep doing that. And that's how you get better. So I think it's fine that you don't like a little bit of it. I don't like a lot of what I'm doing. So that's great.
Yeah.
And the last, do we have one more?
I think so. We've done. What have we done? We did
just the last one.
And okay, yeah. So now we are going to go around one. I don't normally do this. This is normally you. I feel so out of place. No. I get to go first this time for once. We're going to go around one at a time and say what our favorite part of the episode is. Starting with what my favorite part was. Starting with my favorite part, which was I'm trying to remember exactly how you phrased it, but the idea that we are not trying to force the experience of magic upon to our audience, but get them to understand what we experienced when we experienced it ourselves. We're trying to relay an emotion, not uncontrollably stir up an emotion within them. It might not sound like a big distinction, but one is sort of just letting the trick happen and hoping for the best, and the other one has like an intent and a direction and a goal, and I think that it makes it much more of an art form and less of just raw entertainment. Jonah, what was your favorite part?
I had two. The first was definitely what you were talking about using your face, because I found a lot of people outside of magic, people comment on how expressive my face is. And I understand now that's why like kids love my magic, even though, I mean, and adults too, but kids, I know they go bonkers because I'm like making all these different faces. And then when I do it for adults, I slow down. I try to act serious and I try to, and we don't explode with as much excitement. So I love the idea of like it's like I've been only working on half of my magic now. Like now it's like, Jonah, remember your face exists, and I'm like, oh yeah, and now there's so much more for me to do. So I really love that.
It's funny that you say that because I'm kind of the opposite. I find that like maybe I'm not the most expressive on stage, but I am much more emotional when I'm performing for adults on stage. When I'm performing for kids, I'm kind of like this laid back, sort of like cool. I'm like too good for them. You know what I mean? So they really like fight for my approval while I'm showing them magic. But I like that our different personalities are sort of inversed with our performance.
And the other part that I really, really liked is when you mentioned the coyote, because immediately I saw you through the lens of the coyote, and it all made sense. It all just came together when I thought of you as the coyote that is the magician, like you're trying to do all these things, but they're happening to you. Like you're pulling coins out of holes smaller than the coins, and you're doing like, all of a sudden it was like, he's a cartoon, and I'm not that you're a cartoon, but like it so made sense before. And I was saying even earlier in the conversation, I was at a loss for the words to describe the magic that you do. I think the word I said was surreal. And then when you said like Animania or whatever you called it, not Animaniacs.
Looney Tunes.
Yeah, or Looney Tunes. And then you mentioned the coyote. I was like, yes, like Looney Tunes. Like you're a Looney Tune, which is perfect. So that was really, really, really cool to see. And I love the idea of looking at magic through the lens of like animation and Looney Tunes. I thought that was very cool. And Mario, what was your favorite part of the episode?
My favorite part was there. I think I like the part of the face for sure. I think everything is there. I was so amazed about Cardini because he have something. Normally, we don't take care about the face, and Cardini find his monocle. You say monocle?
Yeah.
And this is he put this all. He don't need it for perform, but he put this little piece only for you remember that. Here is my face, and when he put in his eyes, you see his idiot face or his strange face, and boom, you enter in the atmosphere and you enter in the character. And I think that little part of Cardini is one of my favorite, and it's about the face. He don't take care about the technique. he was one there in the shop, and he find a monocle, and maybe I can put this in my face, and everybody look my face. So boom, yeah, I love that.
I love it. I love it. It's all about the face, and I think that's a great thing to take from this episode. And with that, we have one last thing, which is plugs. Where can people find you online? Where should people go to buy your stuff, follow you, things like that?
He can find me in Instagram for anything that people need, and for share ideas, and for talk, and for anything via Instagram. And if they want to see a show, I'm walking around the world in so many magic festival. So I don't know, anywhere, in any time.
Beautiful. We'll find you anywhere at any time, and definitely go follow him on Instagram, because I love it when you appear on my feed. It's so fun, and I love seeing you there. So that's great, and I just want to give you a big, huge thank you for joining us on this episode. It was really fun and really interesting to hear all of this really cool insight about, using clowns, using your face, using like the way to animate, and
I hope we get to do this in person someday.
Absolutely, because it gave us such a great understanding of what you do. So I hope that we get to hang out in person, and I plan on coming to Spain sometime soon, and when I'm there, you get a call.
You have a home here.
Amazing.
Where are you from? I don't know. Where are you from?
We're from Toronto.
What? Toronto. Okay, Toronto. Okay, so I hope one day I go there for sure.
If you're ever here, you got a place too.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Amazing. Okay, chat soon. And once again, thank you everybody at home for listening to the episode. Really great to have you be a part of this, and really great to have you on, Mario. And we'll see everybody again next Thursday.
Take care.
Well, there you have it, episode 98 with Mario Lopez. Once again, this podcast only reaches people anywhere around the world because somebody told them about it. Someone personally shared it, either on a magic forum, on an Instagram post, on a Facebook page, on a Facebook group, in a letter, on a phone call, in the mail, whatever. But that is the only way that it happens. So please do your part, spread the word. Every single time you tell a person about it, it helps. So thank you all so much, and see you next Thursday. Hope you liked the episode.